Part 35. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 346. The devouring beast leaped forward and rushed forward. While setting aside Nine-Tail, don't forget to pull hard with the tail, tearing off one of Nine-Tail's tail. He didn't let his small tree see this scene. His little tree was unhappy because of this matter, so he had to please his own little tree first. Although there are black holes in the star sky and countless storms coming, but the vast charm of the starry sky can only be deeply felt by those in the sky. Yan's fourth exercise method is above the starry sky with the swallowing beast. On an extremely large black rock, she and the swallowing beast carried a sweating interstellar shock in the swallowing beast's energy hood. Yan Ji's body has been raised for a long time, and during this time, the swallowing beast will always feed her some replenishment, and from time to time, she will also help her to alienate the meridians. Yan Ji thought that this time, he must be able to withstand the pure energy in the body of the devouring beast. What she did not expect was that this time the exercise method was not as good as the previous few times. As soon as the energy that swallowed the heavenly beast had entered her body, she was stunned by the shocking energy. A ray of consciousness swallowing the heavenly beast once again entered the chaotic space of Yanj. As soon as he entered, he merged with the consciousness that he had left behind. Frowning slightly, he stared at the little sapling with little vitality in front of him. Why is the little tree of his family so weak? The chaos space can only enter and cannot go out, and as soon as the small tree is unconscious, the consciousness is completely out of touch with the outside world, so this consciousness can only wait for the next time the chaotic space opens and then try to leave. After Yan Song was sober, he felt his body first. As she expected, the cracks on Danshan were as dense as spider webs. Had it not been for the second form of cultivation, she would have hung up long ago. The cock's voice sounded for the first time, grief. Yan Ji didn't respond. The moment she saw her situation in Danshan, the whole person was dead. As soon as the swallowing beast felt the females awake, she immediately scratched the female with her tongue. Yan Song slightly raised his head and looked at the swallowing beast. She nested on the stomach of the devouring beast, and her head rested in the arm of the devouring beast. As long as she had a little movement, the devouring tail would immediately support her tenderly, and let her lie in the most comfortable position with. Seeing her look at it, Swallow's tongue narrowed her eyes quickly, then grinned at her. The swallowing beast is not a good-looking beast. His features are very cruel, his teeth are sharp, and even his tongue is full of barbs. But in this plane, every time he appears in the shape of a beast in front of the words of song, it looks like it is absolutely harmless and cute. All the hardness on him was put away in front of Yanj, leaving only the soft side of Yanj. Yan Ji's eyes moved down from the face of the devouring beast, and gradually moved to the chest of the devouring beast. How good it would be if this guy could be killed, this time is the best chance to kill him. But he couldn't die. Immortal. These 4 words alone can make countless monsters envious and jealous. Even the words of song now feel jealous. Some people are born with good fortunes, and so are some beasts, like the one in front of them. Is she always in a weak position between her and the devouring beast? How can she be willing? After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 347. Little tree, swallowing the beast's front paws and stroking the female's body again and again, trying to calm her emotions. I help you, okay. When she was awake, his consciousness was completely out of her knowledge of the sea. He actually passed the consciousness into the sea of her consciousness along with the energy while she was running the exercises, but as soon as the consciousness entered her sea of consciousness, her connection with him was blocked. This made him completely incapable of knowing what was happening to the body of his own female. He lowered his head slightly, and his large jaw dart into her hair. I help you. Yan Song understood what he meant. Even between the monsters and monsters, no matter how good the relationship is, there will not be such an act of letting the other party enter their own knowledge of the sea, unless the other party is stronger than themselves and forced to break in. But most of these forced break-ins are a loss to both. If you want to put this beast into the sea of knowledge, you will agree if the IQ is dropped. So when she heard the words, she just narrowed her eyes and closed his eyes, and then closed her eyes again, seemingly falling into a drowsiness, but she was actually using the sense to communicate with the chicken. How can this happen? Yanji's voice was a little dignified. There is no problem with the exercises, it should be easier and easier to him, how harder it is than once. This time, she even caught up with her own Danshan. I don't know when this body can be repaired. Even if the repair is done, can she still bear the consequences of sucking him again? Not at all. At this moment, Yanj really has an urge to kill himself. I can't absorb this guy's energy, so why bother sleeping this guy? The chicken has recently been completely out of food. It has eaten all the snacks, even the sugar that it has never eaten, and the most afraid of getting fat, have been chewed by it when it is boring. Today, its bird is almost fading out of its mouth, but it can only enjoy the little stick with a lollipop in its mouth. When he heard the words, it immediately said, normally, he is a devourer of heaven and earth, that is the son of heaven and earth. You are just a tree demon. The gap between you two is so great that he sneezes at you. It's a fluke that you could have sucked his energy so many times and survived the heavy rain. So be nimble, quickly leave this plane to upgrade the fan system. Yanj is an unbelief tree, can we do nothing? The chicken thought for a while, upgraded the enthusiast system and got the powerful person. Then you let the powerful person deal with the devouring beast, and see if they are the two heavenly sons, who are born to the mother and who are the stepmothers. Born, ha ha ha, it's so cool to sit next to melon seeds. There is no need to undress yourself and everything can be done. The chicken cub was so overwhelmed by this good idea. You can also take the time to find a monkey with your other tree. Oh, you should be born of fruit, think of your green leaves and red, what a wonderful picture. Yanj, so the question is coming, how can you get them both on the bar? This, you need to figure out a way. The cub thought for a moment, exhaled the stick in his mouth excitedly, otherwise you take them all to your harem, the two of them must fight and be jealous in order to flip the brand. You can achieve your goal without much effort. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 348. Yan Ji thought about the picture of the jealousy of the devouring beast and the mighty, and shook the goosebumps on his body inexplicably. She sincerely praised the chicks. You don't think of this kind of thought. That is, how can a human brain be compared with a beast like me? The chicken was very proud and had a very small breast. In fact, it felt that even a heartless guy like Wood could not align with its IQ. That's it, said the cub. Since there are no powerful people on this plane, why don't we leave with a little pride? Anyway, the host's mission has been completed, and there is no need to waste any more time. It's uncomfortable to leave this way with closed eyes. He stunned the devouring beast beside him, but in the consciousness said with the chicken gnashing his teeth, there are many ways to leave, but I don't want to leaving in obscurity. Now that he is destined to become a dish of the sky in the future, he must find some interest now. The chicken listened to the words and shuddered inexplicably. When Yanj was awake from drowsiness again, Devourer still licked her and said, "May I help you?" This time, his voice even carried such a pitiful sense of begging. Yanji did not escape this time. She refused decisively. "You have too great a sense of consciousness, and my consciousness cannot bear your consciousness. If you just enter, my inside will burst because I cannot bear it." The devouring beast has an inexplicable confidence in himself, and he feels that such a thing will not happen at all, because after all, he has already been in the sea of knowledge of Yanj, although until now he has not been connected with his consciousness. However, he was confident that the situation that Xiao Shushu thought would never happen will not. But he hadn't finished speaking yet. Xiao Shushu didn't listen anymore. She choked around his neck and said, "I'm so hungry. I'll take you to find something to eat. Do you have anything to eat?" Already thinking about what good tree eaters Xiaoxiaisha should eat, he completely forgot the topic he had just talked with. Yanj really has nothing to eat? She was so full of her mind that she wanted to eat the guy in front of her, and she didn't care if she swallowed it. So she said weakly, "Whatever you want, you can fill your stomach. It has something to do with his own little female, and he doesn't want to casually swallow the beast. He has listed in his mind some of his favorite restaurants, and now the little female's body is more suitable for something to eat. Tear the space shuttle is the easiest shortcut." What I did not expect was that when it appeared outside the restaurant, it was obviously not the time, because those humans seemed to be doing an interview, and all the camera equipment was facing the position of the devouring beast. Naturally, the sudden emergence of the devouring beast was also clear. The swallowing beast swallowed slightly, and then waved its claws. These people were swept a few hundred meters away by his claws. Humans are too weak, just like the ants under his hands. They feel bored when he crushes them. So these did not actually offend the humans, he just threw away a bit. The door of the restaurant was too small, so when turning around, the swallowing beast turned into a humanoid shape, holding the little female riding on his neck with one hand and pushing the door with a careless hand. He didn't feel that there was anything wrong with her, and she was used to singing. All the employees in the restaurant were standing in 2 rows, dressed in neat red dresses, and all smiles were waiting to applaud their own Xiaodong family. But now they are all crying. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 349. The picture just out of the glass is clearly seen by these people. If it weren't for the soft legs, they would have run away. The devouring beasts thought that these humans were welcoming him and their females, and were surprised. That's it? The females in his family look good, and he has become accustomed to the days when his females will be followed everywhere. Of course, swallowing the beast does not feel that the reason his females are attracted is that he keeps the females riding on his neck all the time. After a short surprise, devouring wave calmly waved to these humans politely and stubbornly, "I can't take care of so many people, my woman, I will take care of myself." He knocked at the front desk and turned the currency, put it on the table, let the chef make hands and feet, make a few dishes. "Do you have no guests on the 3rd, arrange the 2 of us at Shijuan number 3. The little girl at the front desk kept nodding her eyes. Their young owner was shot by this monster, and they didn't know if it had been made into flesh. They did not dare to think of revenge, but they had to leave the culprit to wait for the old owner. "Come here." With such a thought in mind, when the waiters in the restaurant faced the devouring beast, they all tried to pretend to be natural with the same hands and feet. "These humans we meet today are strange." Devouring heaven beasts placed their words on the table. Yes, it's on the table. The little female in his family was short, small, and weak. He was afraid to put it on a chair, and the little female slipped under the table. The dishes came quickly. When the waitress came in, she noticed that the waitress's eyes fell on her own little female, and the beast swallowed, frowning with dissatisfaction. Taking the plate made people lose their mind. He was sitting on a chair and spoonful feeding the little female sitting at the table. This little female likes food, and he doesn't think it is something to eat. It's just that the world we live in is too poor, and we can't find any good food to supplement our little female body. Huh? Is there still a lot of world? He shook his head in confusion, and when he saw his little girl picking up a napkin, he immediately picked up the napkin with his other hand to help the little girl clean her little mouth. It was a little juice spilling from the little female's mouth, and it landed on the collarbone of the neck. Scrubbing, his movements slowed down, and his fingers fell on the shallow vortex of the little female collarbone, and the eyes lightened gradually. I don't know how, suddenly I remembered a long time ago, the picture of that saucy fox pouring wine on a woman. Yanj pushed him, "The waiter is here to deliver the vegetables." Before the waiter came in, Devourer licked the neck and collarbone of her little female. As soon as the door opened, the waiter saw the disgusting look of swallowing the heavenly beast, scared that his soft feet and soft legs almost didn't cry on the spot. When the waiter was gone, he swallowed the heavenly beast and quickly walked in front of his own female. The tail had already appeared, and he took the third female to capture his own female. After knowing such things and tricks, Devourer likes to use his tail to play other roles in his body in such things. Yanj shoved him, "Aren't you sending out / the estrus? The faint / love period is over, why do you still have to do this kind of thing, and still in this kind of place?" I don't know. The devastating voice of the devouring beast meant that he praised him, so he continued to lower his head and pinch his collarbone. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 350. As Yanj was about to reach out and push him, devouring heaven beast suddenly rolled Yanj into his arms and turned his head to look out the door. With this turning of his head, the door wall crashed and all collapsed. Outside the enchantment under the swallowing beast himself, there were countless robots with guns. The devouring beast is very angry. These human beings are really annoying and dare to disturb him and his little female. There was a low but powerful roar from his throat. Because of the last appearance on the Sophie warship, devouring the sky beast and the word song have become the targets of the wealthy people on the planet. Although today's technology is very developed, everything can be replaced by robots. However, similar to the beasts of ancient times, we all want to raise one, and sometimes we pull it out to show off. The high-profile appearance of the devouring beast today with the words of song, there have been waves of robots that have blocked the water, blocked inside and outside the place. All the ways out around this, including the sky, were blocked by the robot with U-rays. In the eyes of everyone, this beast, even with its head-turning ability, is difficult to fly today. So when the wall collapsed and saw the devouring beast, the big men standing behind the robot were yelling at the devouring beast, "Become a beastly shape for us to see." Others said, "You always have a woman in your arms. What kind of animal is this woman? You make her look awkward." There are many of these voices, and although they are messy, they can still hear them in their ears. These guys are even discussing how to divide his little female. What a death! The swallowing head of the devouring beast twisted and made a rattling noise. The next moment his head had become a beast. At the same time everyone was surprised, with a blink of an eye, his whole body became a beast. The robots were ordered to immediately point their guns at the devouring beast. Don't wait for these humans to warn the devouring beasts. The swallowing beast has a big mouth, and the roaring voice distorts the surrounding space. When the space returns to normal, there was a mess around, the humans were squeezed into powder because of space distortion, and only those robots still had some deformed limbs left around. The devouring beast stunned the face of Yanj, and drooled his eyes. This time, it didn't affect the mood of devouring heaven beasts moving around with words. To him, human beings are not enough to pose a threat. A few deaths are that these weak human beings are not even qualified to block his way. It was the female body that he had been worried about recently. He seems to be wandering around with his female, but in fact, he wants to find some food in this world that can supplement his body. But I can find them, I don't find anything. I always say that they are bothered by the human beings and the two trees. It's really intolerable. The body of the little female with eyes narrowed is getting weaker, and the devouring beast is getting more and more irritable when treating those humans. But in front of his own little female, he is still a grieving and pitiful devouring beast. Little tree, Let me go into your sea of knowledge to see if it is okay, just look at it. Yan Ji gave him a stunned glance. I really want to eat the blueberry yam that I ate the last time. I'll take you to eat right away. Swallowing Heaven's arms embraced her female, tearing the space and going to the restaurant she visited last time. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 351. As far as the location of the restaurant where my own small tree loves to eat is, it is well remembered. So the shuttle space quickly reached the designated location. During this time, the Zerg raged on various planets, resulting in a state of heart-throbbing no matter where on the planet. As a result, there have been rumors that the devouring beast and the word song are the evolution of the Zerg that can disguise the existence of human beings. These two so-called people are Zerg spies. Such rumors were spread by Zhu Wei's new girlfriend. Because there is a guy who makes rumors, so many of the rumors are true and false. There are many big news that civilians have not had the chance to know. For example, the warship named Sophie was pierced by two people sent by the Zerg. The rumors spread more and more. All human beings can't wait for the devouring beasts and words to be smashed into 8 pieces to vent their anger, but the party's devouring beasts and words are not at the heart of this. Strength is everything, so devouring beasts don't care about the thoughts of humans like these little ants. As for the word song, there is a devouring beast, where to get her to worry about. This time when I entered the restaurant, the brain in the private room kept apologizing, saying that recently, due to the war, the arrival of many ingredients would be delayed. Cannot wait to swallow the heavenly beast, he could not bear his own small tree hungry. Let's go find the ingredients together, he said to Yanj, you can bring them back and eat them soon. Yanj is still sitting at the table. She is playing a game on the light brain and shaking her legs. When she hears it, she immediately shakes her head. I don't want to go, I feel uncomfortable every time I shuttle, I stay here to wait for you, you come back. The devouring beast can't rest assured that Xiaoshushu left his eyes. But her own small tree shouted there and said, I will come back soon, you. I am very hungry, and my stomach is uncomfortable. He listened to the soft voice of his own small tree, and after tangling for a while, he planned to find his own ingredients. He will be back soon, and during this time he will set up an enchantment, and no one will be able to approach his small tree. When leaving, Xiaoshushu still waved Bainanan's little hand at him and looked at him expectantly, come back early, I'll wait for you. But wait for him to come back. There is a little female figure in the empty room. His enchantment was not destroyed, indicating that this was the enchantment that Xiaoshushu left himself. What happened? He left his own consciousness on Xiaoshushu, but now he has no sense of his consciousness at all. Angrily devouring the beast, he wants to call the entire restaurant to monitor. But this individual looked at him as if he were dead. Before he even started, these guys rushed up with some inadequate weapons and tried to kill him. The surveillance was destroyed, and the irritable and devouring beast swallowed up all the humans who fluttered up to retrieve their memories in a soul-searching manner. He has never used this method of searching for souls. Although the two people's brains burst in the beginning due to the problem of strong mental power, slowly he grasped the standard. These people do not have their own small tree in their minds. However, a conversation in one of his heads caught the attention of the devouring beast. Zerg's spies have been controlled. It is the woman who always rides on the man. Presumably he is not low in Zerg. Use her to come out to attract the queen of Zerg on the planet Fidoka. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gong Wei Pang. Chapter 352. Zerg. The devouring beast has an impression of this disgusting animal. These humans even took the little tree of his family as the Zerg, it was really mad at him. He tore the space and went to Fidoka's planet the first time. But little tree is not on the planet Fidoka. The planet Fidoka was also not occupied by the Zerg. Where is his little tree? At the moment of swallowing the beast, I even want to destroy all human beings to make their own small trees safe. But there are so many human beings. Instead of destroying human beings, he might as well set his mind and search for small trees with his mental strength. The devouring beast has walked away from several planets, and he finally collected his little female with his mental strength. The little female is on a planet called Chimera. There, too, he saw with his own eyes the small trees that were with bombs and were thrown by those humans towards the densely crowded Zerg. The devouring beast almost jumped to his small tree in half a breath, and the claw grabbed the small tree. The smell of Xiaoshushu was acrid, and he frowned slightly, which slowed down the time to dismantle the bomb on Xiaoshushu. Yan Ji's finger touched the jaw of devouring the beast. The beast-shaped swallowing beast was so big, her head was close to his ears, and she said anxiously, "I have our bullets on my body, and you go away." Before he talked, her weak hands rubbed his head reluctantly, pushing him back hard. He didn't know what was happening to him. He lost his strength and was pushed by her, leaving her like a ball and bouncing away. He looked at her watery eyes, watching her stare at himself. He wanted to roar, but there was no sound in his throat. He also wanted to grab her. He didn't want to let go of her paw at all, but she opened his paw and waved at him with a smile. Her mouth was moving, she was talking. After so many years of tacit understanding, even if he couldn't hear her voice, he could guess what she said from her talking lips. She said, "You have to be good." The blood-red eyes of the devouring beast stared at his little female. He saw her falling towards the overwhelming Zerg, and he watched a sudden rumbling in the middle of the black Zerg. The sky's fire and smoke fascinated him. His little female disappeared completely from his sight. The entire Simala planet was blown up into a barren land. The strength of the devouring beast was restored after a long time. Before that, he was like a hopeless stone, floating unmovingly outside the planet Kimala, and his blood-red eyes stared at Kimi without blinking. "Pull the planet." Zhu Wei crouched beside him with only one tail remaining. Even if the swallowing beast can't move at this moment, Zhu Wei still shivered. It is really the kind of aura that swallowed the swallowing beast. Big guys, when you were walking around the planet when you were in love, the pheromones on your body were captured by the Zerg, which accelerated the growth of those Zerg on the planet Kimala. These Zerg are the great enemies of mankind. It will not take long to grow like this. Will destroy all human beings. My aunt contacted me before and said that human beings are the protectors of heaven. If human beings are destroyed, you may disappear. She said that her flesh can suppress insects. If human beings use some technology to make bombs that can enlarge her flesh and blood, you can destroy all these bugs. The bomb that the human researched tied to the woman was made by the woman himself. Zhu Wei always felt that the words the woman said to him were a bit ridiculous. However, he sincerely hoped that this kind of remarks could falter to swallow the heavenly beast. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 353. Zhu Wei never dared to leave, and while swallowing the beast could not move, he repeatedly showed his loyalty and repeatedly showed that all this was the woman's own idea. Not only was he innocent himself, but he repeatedly advised the woman not to do so. However, the woman threatened him with the swallowing beast, and the woman said that she also knew it, so Zhu Wei looked at the face of the swallowing beast to help the woman. He described himself as an innocent and poor little cabbage. The woman is said to be a good woman with courage, intention. The swallowing beast was motionless, but Zhu Wei said that he was so excited, and of course he would sigh from time to time. Until the devouring beast could make a sound, his hoarse voice asked, "What about her?" He still looked at the planet Simala. The red blood on the bottom of the eyes spread all over. Originally, a pair of large and extremely sharp eyes, at this moment, it seemed to be covered with a layer of dust and generally did not have any color. She, being a human bomb, must have been blown up. But in this case, Zhu felt that if he said it, he would be instantly swallowed into the flesh by the swallowing beast, so after he settled down, he said, "Are you talking about Deseo?" Deseo said she will come back and ask you waiting for her. "Oh, ma'am asked me to look at you. If you find another female, let me remember to tell her later. Anyway, I have told so many lies, and it seems that there are not so many. Just don't know if this devouring beast believes it or not." Zhu feels that no one with a brain would believe it. After all, swallowing the beast also saw the woman was bombed into a dregs by a bomb. Oh no, the dregs didn't stay, they just exploded into the air. So he watched the devouring beast secretly. The devouring beast is still motionless, and Zhu is not even sure if he just asked him what he just said. After a long time, the devouring beast said, "Where are you now?" She is of course in every corner of planet Mila. Zhu was surprised that devouring heaven beast believed his words. So he thought for a while and thought, "Ma'am probably practiced somewhere? After all, this time will definitely cost her a lot of practice, she can only meet you if she has cultivated well." This lie, even Zhu couldn't help but want to give himself a perfect score. He feels that he can believe what he said, mainly because he compiled it well. The devouring beast finally moved, and he slowly turned his head and stared at Zhu. I don't know if it was because of the blood-red eyes of the swallowing beast. When Zhu was staring at such a swallowing beast, his heart beats fast. The brain is buzzing. It's scary. He wants to run, but swallows. The coercion of the celestial beast spreads over him, let alone run away, he can't even breathe. "Although I have always hated you for smelling badly," the voice of the devouring beast was slowly, a little stiff, and a little stagnant, "but there is nothing in this world to help you, so you can eat a little bit and eat you. I should be able to advance quickly, and it will be easy to find her by then." Ninetail. I'm crying MMP, how can this guy eat him? He didn't know how many times he said, he had a good relationship with the woman, and the woman had instructed him to look at this guy, and it shouldn't be reasonable for this guy to eat him. Zhu was speechless. He was trembling all over. He looked at the devouring beast, and the tears in his eyes burst into tears. This is all the water that came into his head. Why did he stay here? He should run as far as possible. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 354. Back in the fandom system, when the cub's two round eyes were glaring at the song, his face was full of joy. Yan Ji rolled his eyes, although he wasn't eaten by him, he couldn't eat him. What's so good about that? When the chicken reached his mouth, he swallowed it again. At this time, he couldn't say that he was glad that the wood had finally returned. He coughed, and was about to say two words in praise of Yanj, but Yanj closed his eyes to look inside himself. Anyway, this time I also sucked up the energy of the heaven and earth. Yan Ji thought that his own body could grow so many inches even if it would not skyrocket. To her surprise, the small trunk did not grow thick or grow tall, and did not even have an extra branch, not to mention the green tree leaves. Yan Ji looked at her bareness and felt sad. Damn, for a long time, the world energy of swallowing the beast is not applicable to her tree. This is really a sad story. Don't be sad, let's take the path of the mighty one. If I say, you should pull the mighty one and the devourer together to fall in love and kill each other. The chicken Babel said in a stunned voice, the powerful man has not succeeded in taking orders from so many questers. Maybe this guy actually likes men, so he has never succeeded in succession. Yang has not turned back from this cruel truth that the energy of the beast did not absorb, and he lacked interest in the things of the mighty. He said, "Have the fan system been upgraded this time?" The chicken cub heard that the tail immediately drew down. "It hasn't been upgraded yet, but I think it should be almost 1 or 2 more tasks." "Okay," said Yan Ji, "then enter the mission. If you don't want to be decadent, you must let yourself be a leader." At least, she hadn't reached the end of the mountain. The host of the new song in the new plane is Sujiajia. As his name is, he is a beautiful girl who has been carved from a young age, and is praised everywhere. However, Sujiajia did not ignore her inner beauty because she was beautiful. She has been a hard-working and good student in her teacher's mouth. Probably because the parents had been at odds with each other, and she was abandoned by her father early to depend on her mother for her life. Although Sujiajia was a good student, she was usually an introverted and shy girl. Even from a young age, the boy who chased her could circle around the community twice, and Sujiajia never changed his study schedule. Her father derailed another woman and left her to divorce her mother. Although she was small at that time, the picture of her mother holding her kneeling and sitting at the gate crying was extremely profound. So she told herself from an early age that she must study hard and make her mother proud and happy. Sujiajia is not a natural learner. In fact, she is not smart, but she wins because she is willing to study hard. She devoted almost all her energy to studying. When she was in the early stages, she was sent to a well-known high school in Beijing by the school because of her studies. The school was semi-closed, so her mother didn't follow. Most of the students in the school are either rich or expensive, and all of them are comparing and showing off their wealth. The new environment is different from the previous environment. Sujiajia didn't adapt at all, but she didn't get up before her mother. She turned her incompatibility into a motivation for hard work. Because she is beautiful, even if Sujiajia does not like to participate in any activities, she does not like to talk to people, but she is not only in the class, but also famous throughout the school. After my death, the villain blackened again. Author, Ben Gongwei Pang. Chapter 355. All kinds of love letters appeared in the shape of Sujiajia's drawers. However, she basically throws the trash can without looking. The boys' conversation, she refused with "I want to study hard and don't want this kind of problem now." Even so, many boys persist. Although this kind of thing annoyed Sujiajia, but she didn't take it to heart. After all, she had experienced too many such things since she was a child. She has been used to it. Zheng Tao, the class leader who had been in the same class with her in junior high school, not only escorted her to the school with her this time, but the two were very strangely assigned to another class. The two were somehow fellows, so when Zheng Tao asked for a birthday party and invited her, although Sujiajia thought it was a waste of time, she did not refuse, because another girl Wang Xian in the bedroom also followed. On Saturday, Sujiajia and the bedroom Wang Xian went out of the school together, fearing that the two girls could not find them, and a classmate's car was waiting outside for them. Before Sujiajia went to the banquet, she said a few words with her mother on WeChat. She didn't like this kind of communication, or her mother enlightened her and told her to wait for this time to go to Beijing to visit her. Then, bring her favorite nougat. But Sujiajia did not expect that this banquet was to her. She had no chance to see her mother again, nor to speak to her mother. Not long after she entered the box, she was unconscious because she had a drink. When she woke up again, she was in the home of a male student in the class. This male classmate is called Wang Shen, and Sujiajia is impressed, because after many boys are rejected by her several times, most of them will die out. Only this Wang Shen has been chasing her in a different way, even blocking her several times, asking her what conditions, money, or things, as long as she speaks, he will give her. After being rejected by her several times, Wang Shen also scolded her for falsely clearing up, saying that sooner or later he had to kneel and ask him. Su Jiajia has also heard such threats before. She never walks around, all in school, and afterwards, she definitely does not have any interaction with the boys who say such things. This time at Zheng Tao's birthday party, she also specifically asked Zheng Tao if there were anyone else. She did not expect Zheng Tao to lie to her. She didn't expect that Wang Shen, who had kidnapped her, would be so perverted. He imprisoned her in his villa and took his 2 companions to torture her and humiliate her. No matter how she begged, they never let go of her intentions. She eventually died of insult. In this villa, she was imprisoned for more than a week, but no one came to her for more than a week. Perhaps because she was unwilling to die, she became a grudge. Her disappearance was eventually discovered by her mother. Her roommate Wang Xian has been using her cell phone to chat with her mother WeChat, always using the excuse of being afraid of disturbing others, but just not typing. Her roommate also told the teacher that she was ill and could not attend class. After her mother called her several times and she was hung up by her roommate, it was about the mother and daughter who had a terrible feeling. Her mother found the school a week later. The school was unwilling to carry the pot at all, but instead bite back, saying that it must be that the host had left the school and did not know where to go. After all, many students were rebellious and did not listen to the teachings of the school at all.